I've listened to A Beautiful Lie by 30 Seconds to Mars for years.
And I listened to it once yesterday.
Welcome to Spin It. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spin It, the record ranking podcast for people who would rather be listening to music. I'm James, and with me is Connor.
We're back.
We're back. I almost said with me is a beautiful guy, because we're talking about A Beautiful Lie, but I didn't want to inflate your ego.
Well, my ego could use a little inflating, I think. I don't have much of one.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Yes, we're back for 30 Seconds to Mars in the Year of Redemption. Now, this is kind of a redemption pick for me, on my end.
And for me.
And for you. Yeah, that's true. But in the past redemption picks, I picked albums that I thought you would give a better score. I just picked this one because the first time around, I really feel like I made mistakes. We did an episode on 30 Seconds to Mars' 2018 album, America. And at the time, we were still 33 episodes into the podcast, right? That's episode 33. We had done a lot of higher scoring albums, and I wanted to dip down into the lower reaches of my ranking list. And so I went for America because I knew it was a lower album on my list. I figured it'd be fun to talk about an album that was not necessarily the biggest hit. And yeah, I just picked it because I wanted a lower scoring album, which was not the way to go. And I realized that as we did the episode. So, I mean, until Cage the Elephant the other week, America was the lowest scoring album that we've done an episode on. In like 5 years, it stayed the lowest until just a few weeks ago. So, yeah, I feel like it feels like a redemption for me more than for 30 Seconds to Mars, because I always knew, always, from the beginning, that other albums of theirs would do better than America. I even said so much in the episode.
Nothing does better than America. Back-to-back World War champions.
Good grief. Well, you know the album is not the same.
America is probably, I was telling you this outside the podcast, but 30 Seconds to Mars and America is probably the biggest confusion for me out of all the episodes we've done.
Oh, yeah?
Because the songs we selected for the playlist are so good that every time they come on, I'm like, oh man, I like 30 Seconds to Mars. I'm going to go listen to the whole album. And then I go to the rest of the album and like everything else on that album is garbage.
It's hard.
And so it tricks me. The playlist tricks me over and over again.
Yeah. The songs we picked from the playlist are Walk on Water and Rescue Me, two of the standout tracks from America. And yeah, the rest of the album just doesn't quite reach those same levels. I even said in the episode, I was listening back to it before this one, and I said verbatim, maybe 30 Seconds to Mars needs a redemption episode sometime in the future. And what do you know? That was very clairvoyant of me, because here we are, 5 years later, almost 200 full episodes later, and it's time for 30 Seconds to Mars redemption. Now, do you have any other 30 Seconds to Mars experience before America or since then?
Not really.
Okay. I do. And we talked about it in that episode, but it's been so long, I'm going to recount it all for you here. I started listening to them, I think because of like a Guitar Hero game on my iPod Touch that played Attack, maybe. I don't know, I just heard that song and I liked it, and they had another one on there, probably This Is War or something, and I liked it. And so in high school, in study hall, I would pull up YouTube videos of their singles and stuff and listen to them, because I was exploring this new genre that I hadn't really heard before. I was still a young music listener, just kind of getting my feet under me. And so 30 Seconds to Mars, and especially their singles, was really big for me in like my musical evolution. Didn't have much of an emo phase, it was pretty soft and light, but what I did have, probably at close to its strongest, was a little bit of 30 Seconds to Mars. Now, I hadn't listened to a full of their albums until America. Actually, I think that was the first full 30 Seconds to Mars album I listened to in college, years later. And yeah, I mean, we saw how that went. But I know a lot of singles, from all of their albums, except I guess their debut, but from A Beautiful Lie and from This Is War and from Love, Less Faith and Dreams. I was pretty well versed. But also there was some good stuff on America as an album, right? That's the album that introduced us to Halsey a little bit, and A$AP Rocky, who was your favorite feature on a later album that we did.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a complete wash, and it gave us 2 great tracks for the playlist. It just, it was for all that it gave us, it took some more away.
That's true. To be the lowest scoring episode for years is a tough burden to bear. But also, we got fun, weird facts.
To be fair, and that's your lowest scoring episode.
Well, yeah, you're right. That is, I'm talking about me.
They are 11, 12, 13th from the bottom for me.
Okay, well, yeah, they're down there for you then, but lots has passed them.
Yeah, at the time they came out, they would have been my lowest scoring album when they came out.
For 20 episodes.
No, for 3 episodes when we did Cheap Thrills, it
Oh, you're right.
dropped below it a couple episodes later.
I was just looking at number scores.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it didn't last at the bottom very long for you.
But yeah, at the time it came out, it was the lowest for both of us. And for you, it maintained that record for a long time.
True. But we also got a lot of great stuff out of it from the podcast. That's what led us to Cotton Candy Grapes.
That's a good segue into what I have sitting in front of me right now.
Could it perhaps be a bowl of grapes?
It is a bowl of cotton candy grapes.
Deja vu. The Mixtaper brought a fact about Jared Leto funding cotton candy grape research, right? And then a couple episodes later, we were able to get cotton candy grapes and try them as like a taste test on an episode. So that's fun.
I was at the store the other day and I saw them and I knew we were recording this episode, so I picked them up.
Good foresight. I wish I had thought the same. I truly and genuinely had not had cotton candy grapes until that episode, and now it feels like they're everywhere. Like, we really made them popular, you know? We brought them into the cultural...
Yeah, we made them popular.
Yeah, you, me, and Jared Leto. All of us. We also had facts about the ear, the human ear that Jared Leto decided to wear around for a bit, and the one that I'll never forget, the albino Danish filmmaking rocket toy salesman, Bartholomew Cubbins. He will make some appearances in this very episode, so stay tuned for that. But it was a good episode. I remember enjoying that one a lot.
It was a good episode, yeah.
That first year feels especially vintage now. And it sounds old compared to how we record things now. The recording quality is way different, but content-wise, it holds up. But last time, since we talked about their 2018 record, something later on in their career, we didn't really focus too much on the beginning of their time as a band. So we're going to kind of fill in those gaps here on this episode, talking about their second album.
I mean, let's do it.
Great. Well, the band got their start in 1998 in Los Angeles, California. Now, at that time, Jared Leto was already a known actor as of the early 90s. And that's actually why he moved to Los Angeles in the first place, all the way from his native Louisiana. He went from LA to LA. And he wanted to be an actor and a director, which you already know, I'm sure. But he wanted more. Acting and directing was not enough for our ambitious little Jared Leto. He decided he wanted to start a band, and he wanted it to be totally separate from his acting career. Fully separate. Like, no cross-promotion, no nothing. Which is why I was probably so surprised to find out that he was an actor after I found the band first. He kind of wanted those to be separate spheres of his life. So, Jared called up his brother Shannon, who he had obviously played music with forever, and then, along with guitarist Solon Bixler and bassist Matt Watcher, they became 30 Seconds to Mars. And we joked about the name 30 Seconds to Mars last time, right? We talked about that, how 30 seconds is such an interesting amount of time away to be, because it's not a consistent distance. It just depends on your velocity.
Yeah. What's the speed limit in space next to Mars? Like, is it like how, like, when you're in a school zone, right, it slows down a little bit, like as you approach the planet, does the speed limit drop?
Maybe. A school zone. And I'm picturing, like, crossing guards out there for the planets and the asteroid belt to let it get past. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. But we talked about how it was related to a philosophy class that Jared Leto took, the name, but also I read up more on it this time, and it's got disputed origins. Jared Leto says that 30 Seconds to Mars comes from some kind of old manuscript called the Argus Apocryphex, but I don't think that actually exists. I don't think that's a real thing. So, I don't know, it's a little fantastical. He says that 30 Seconds to Mars is a reference, a rough translation from the book. I think the idea is interesting. It's a metaphor for the future. He said it's the fact that we're so close to something that's not a tangible idea, and also Mars being the god of war makes it really interesting as well. He said that you could substitute that in there, but what's important for my brother and I is that it be imaginative and really represent the sound of our music in as unique a way as possible. And you know what? Reasonable. I would argue, over time, their music has sounded more like a band named 30 Seconds to Mars as their sound has evolved, including America. I think they've been getting closer to that iteration of their vision, even if I disagree with the changes. The band started gigging around Los Angeles in the late 90s. They created a few demos that would go on and find some new life on their debut album. They signed with Immortal and Virgin Records, and they put out that self-titled debut in late 2002. They worked with Bob Ezrin, who had previously done work with Alice Cooper, and Kiss, who we did an episode on for episode 50. He did work with Pink Floyd, who we talked about on episode 6. So that's cool. They recruit a good team behind the board. And for a lot of the recording, the band went out to a warehouse in Wyoming because they wanted to be isolated from the world as they were creating. And they also wanted a really big, sweeping, dramatic sound. And they've never stopped chasing that high. Not even a little bit. The first record was a pretty huge success. It climbed to number 107 on the Billboard charts, and it sold more than 121,000 copies in the US. By 2011, that number would be way up, over 2 million. But all that success sent the band on a tour, it landed them on TV, and they started to build a significant fan base. But all that touring really started to get to Solon Bixler. He did not enjoy touring. So he left the band, and that left an open space for longtime guitarist Tomo Milicevic to join the fold. Again, so hard to find a proper pronunciation of Tomo's last name, so just kind of winging it. Sorry to the nation of Croatia if that was wrong. Solon Bixler would go on to do work with All Smiles, Early Mart, and Great Northern, so that's fun. But that's where we're at in 2004, right? When the band gets rolling on their sophomore album, A Beautiful Lie. They are making hit records, they've got a new guitarist, they're ready to explore that big sweeping stadium 30 Seconds to Mars sound even further. A Beautiful Lie was a big project. They recorded for upwards of 3 years across 5 countries on 4 different continents to account for Jared Leto's busy acting and shooting schedule. They really took it international. Leto wrote a solid quarter of the record in Cape Town, South Africa, actually, and the album had a working title of Battle of One. Their vision for A Beautiful Lie was for it to kind of be a significant departure from their debut. Their first record, Concept King, welcome back. It was a concept album about the human condition with these really astronomical themes and lofty stuff kind of interwoven throughout. Very high-minded stuff. For their second album, they wanted to zoom in on the microscope a little more. Less broad and sweeping lyrical statements, more songs that are, as they said, personal and less cerebral. And that's cool. They also tried to evolve their sound a lot too. They were pushing for bigger musical vibes and still a lot of intensity. Critics called their debut record high-minded space opera, and they compared it to bands like Rush. But as they got into this second album, A Beautiful Lie, Jared Leto started to scream more and yell and do more dynamic vocals as they kind of leaned more towards an alt-rock direction. So now, for A Beautiful Lie, their sound is more in line with U2, the Smashing Pumpkins, and The Cure, which feels like a better fit for them all along. I haven't listened to their first record yet, and maybe that's a mistake, but I don't know. 30 Seconds to Mars doing Rush just doesn't sound appealing to me.
Why not?
Well, because I like Rush.
And?
I just think we should leave that sphere of the music alone. Don't touch it, Jared. Take your ear and go home.
That's a rough callback.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. They also changed up the production team to help freshen up their sound. They worked with producer Josh Abraham, who has done work with artists like Slayer, Adam Lambert, Carly Rae Jepsen, Shakira, Pink, Kelly Clarkson, Weezer, and many more. He is self-taught as a producer, and he has been nominated for a Latin Grammy. He's worked with Flo Rida and Black Veil Brides and the Alkaline Trio and Courtney Love. He's just done a ton. Josh Abraham, good guy to have on your team. A Beautiful Lie was almost all ready to come out in early 2005 when suddenly, 5 months early, the entire unmastered album leaked. Nightmare situation. That's no good. They had to actually delay the official release of the album to August 30th, 2005.
That's pretty delayed.
Yeah. It's one thing if the week of your album, the final version kind of leaks a little bit, but an unmastered version months ahead is just devastating. It doesn't even sound good yet, you know? Not as good as it's gonna sound. So, late August 2005, this album is imminent. They did a lot of interesting stuff around this release, too. They put out 3, and only 3, copies of the album that contained a Willy Wonka-style golden ticket, which allowed the bearer to get into any show at all and have backstage access for the lifetime of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Which is so cool.
It's cool, but that's pretty wild, right? I don't know.
If I was a famous musician or in a famous band, I would do that as a promotional thing. Or maybe not even as a promotional thing, but save that for a really diehard fan or something.
Yeah, just give them access. Well, I don't know. You got to be really... The thing I don't like about it is the randomness. I think it's cool to let fans that are with you for the whole journey, behind the scenes a little bit and give them some perks and good stuff. But man, if you have no control... Look at what we just talked about with Asking Alexandria and people coming to meet them at signings and saying, carve your name into me, or like sign my little Iron Man,
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm thinking I wouldn't do it random.
Yeah.
Right. If I did it random, it would have to be like you have to schedule in advance sort of thing before you could use it.
You get it like 5. You get 5 shows and 1 backstage. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking I know a guy that's like really good friends with a musical group, and he has like signed guitars from them and stuff like that, and like they've stayed at his place when they were in town touring and their hotel reservation fell through, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like somebody like that was like a super fan of the group and I knew pretty well, I'd give them a golden ticket. Come anytime you want.
Yeah, that's good to have. That's different. But to just say it's in 3 of them, go get it. Oh, man. Dude,
they have a passionate fan base.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. They also have some dispassionate fans, like we were after the first episode. Hot and cold, those 30 seconds to Martians. Is that what their fans are called?
That's what they should be.
So they do the golden ticket thing. They Willy Wonka it. They also included a hidden track on some early versions of the album that got removed on later releases. So you don't see that one very often. It's called Praying for a Riot. And I think you can only find it on YouTube in certain countries or on the Brazilian version of the record, at least as far as I could see. I looked for it and I had a hard time tracking it down. But all these gimmicks, all these little antics, they worked their magic. A Beautiful Lie sold 21,000 copies in week 1, and then it got a deluxe edition in a 2007 re-release, which moved even more copies. Today, it has sold more than 1.2 million units in the US alone, and it's certified platinum. It went to number 36 on the Billboard 200, and it was on the charts in 18 other countries. Unlike America, which was a total bag of mixed reviews, A Beautiful Lie was pretty well received critically. I mean, there's still some hot and cold responses thrown in. It's not as stark as America by any means, but it did still tend to pull people to one side or the other, which I think is a thing that 30 Seconds to Mars apparently just can't get away from. Alternative Addiction, Kerrang, Melodic, Revolver, and Sputnik music ended up being favorable, or on the good side of things, but Rock Sound and Rolling Stone and others really kind of panned it. Its All Music Database rating is 2 stars. On one hand, I get it. Listening to so much music now and like trying to step back and be objective, yeah, I understand. But also there is that nostalgia element tied up in like half of this album. So in some ways that's a bit of a bummer, and I wish it had done better. I think this record has a lot of strengths though, even though it does come across sometimes a little heavy-handed and too serious and fake edgy. Like A Beautiful Lie is an album that tries hard to a fault, but it's got some good stuff in there. And of course, critical opinion means nothing to the fans, usually. It did still pick up some hardware. The Kill and From Yesterday were nominated for Modern Rock Single of the Year at the Billboard Awards. They also earned 2 consecutive Best Single Kerrang Awards, and a lot of publications ended up keeping A Beautiful Lie on their list of the best records of the year, and even of the decade, so that kind of speaks for itself. So, I mean, that's the early days of 30 Seconds to Mars. That's the story behind A Beautiful Lie. Their next few albums are also pretty solid in my eyes. This Is War was almost a candidate for this episode.
Wow.
I know. And Love, Lust, Faith, and Dreams is good, but it's like a little bit too similar to America for a proper redemption episode.
So, to be clear, you're saying that America was like their least favorite album for you. It's only really been improvements, even though some of them have been similar to America, other than the one you haven't listened to for personal reasons.
Well, yeah, I haven't listened to their self-titled debut. I haven't yet listened to their 2023 album, It's the End of the World, But It's a Beautiful Day. But the other 3 albums, as far as the tracks that I know from those, yeah, all of them are better than America. Like, I absolutely picked my least favorite.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean I hated it. I'm going to maintain what I said in the whole first episode. I didn't hate it. But you got to dig a little deeper to find its redeeming qualities. So yeah, we talked about a lot of that later history leading up to America back in episode 33. Check that out if you want some more. But we talked about how much the band tours, to the point that they set a Guinness World Record for touring dates during an album cycle after This Is War. For America, when they released America, they actually had broken off from their label after a decade, which is probably one of the reasons it's a little bit different than the rest. And post-America is when Tomo left the band, and we were down to just Jared and Shannon for It's the End of the World, But It's a Beautiful Day. In the time since America, and especially in the time since our 30 Seconds to Mars episode, that record came out. That seems to be a nice upswing after the nadir of America. The band is also right on the cusp of re-releasing A Beautiful Lie as we're making this episode. Last I heard, they were gearing up for a November 2025 release of a new edition of A Beautiful Lie. So fortuitous timing for this episode. November 2025 is like right now. In the lead up to that, they performed a massive reunion/anniversary concert with Tomo and everything. And that's really cool. It was their first time playing together in 7 years. So that's the skinny on 30 Seconds to Mars. As for their awards and accolades, we talked about a lot of it last time, but for a refresher, they've got 82 awards on 180 nominations, and that includes 4 alt-rock awards, a Billboard Music Award on 6 nominations, a Breakthrough Crossover Artist of the Year award. They have 2 CMA awards, but that's not the Country Music Association. These CMA awards, they celebrate albums in Germany. But I faked you out for a second, didn't I?
You did.
30 Seconds to Mars also has a slew of MTV and MTV Europe awards. They've been nominated for 2 Echo Prizes and 3 iHeartRadio Music Awards. They've also got 6 Kerrang! Awards on 18 nominations. They've got 19 Rock On Request awards from the online magazine. And that's all music stuff. But music aside, 30 Seconds to Mars has a Best Documentary award from the Toronto International Film Festival for their work Artifact. Bartholomew Cubbins strikes again. Literally. Like, that's the pseudonym he used to direct Artifact. So that's cool. Little full circle moment for old Bart.
Good old Barty.
Barty Cubby. Anyway, that's what I've got. Speaking of Bartholomew Cubbins, let's get the mixtaper out here and see what new facts and spins he's got this week. Last time, man, we already talked about all of those again, but we were pretty heavy on the true facts for Jared Leto. And I still have the same fears that I did way back then. I said then, this guy's so unpredictable that I don't know what's going to be true and what's going to be false about him. And that's still true. Like, beats me.
Well, you at least know 4 things that are true or false about him that you didn't know last time we did an episode on them.
It's true.
So that's 4 out of an infinite number of things that you don't have to worry about.
I'm making a dent in it. Yeah.
Hey, it's me, the Mixtaper.
Hello, Mixtaper. Welcome back. 30 seconds to Factor Spin. Oh, I meant to ask Connor about this. I can ask your opinion too, though. We're calling this episode like 30 Seconds to Mars, the year of redemption. We should probably consider it like 30 seconds number 2 Mars, right? Or should it be 31 seconds to Mars?
32 seconds to Mars.
Oh, we just skipped the 31st second? Or should it be 29 seconds to Mars because we're closer?
Oh, that's a good point. Are we getting closer or farther away?
Yeah, what's our direction? Towards or from Mars?
I guess it says to Mars, which implies you're going in towards it.
No, you're right. It does. Never mind. Forget my question.
I just like if it's our second 30-second to Mars.
So it's a minute to Mars.
Yeah, I think we're a minute to Mars. But I do like your idea of it saying 30-second to Mars, and then the second being a 2.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Like a 2 and D.
30-second.
Oh, that's not what you were implying? Yeah, make it a 30 and then 2 and D for second.
Let's just nuke our search engine optimization and call it 60-second number 2 Mars. We'll just do all the ideas at once.
I like it. I got a fun week for us.
I bet you do. I think we're on a really fun stretch of Factor Spin lately. Some really interesting stuff.
Who won the original 30-second to Mars round? Who's trying to get redeemed here in Factor Spin?
That's a great question. I took the original round 3-1 with a conditional 4th point. A perfect week is on the line if somehow I can convince Jared Leto to invest in cotton candy grapes, which he has not done yet. He's ignored all of my calls, emails, letters, and spokespeople.
This would have been an amazing opportunity for you to have been like, and guess what? It's now a perfect suite. Like, if you announced right here that you would have gotten him to invest, that would have been amazing.
It would have been.
But it's not.
No, I don't think that's a thing he's going to do. I think, sad to say, probably just a pipe dream.
That's quitter talk. That's why I'm going to beat you this week.
Maybe. Yeah, you've got some redeeming to do.
My first fact. We're here to talk about the band's Desert Pyramid Extravaganza.
The band's Desert Pyramid Extravaganza? So, Desert Pyramid makes me think Egypt, right? And Cairo. What pyramids are we talking about that are in a desert? Are these well-known pyramids?
No.
Ooh.
They were inspired to build a full-scale pyramid in the Mojave Desert and perform a 2-week concert inside of it.
Oh my gosh. So they go out into the Mojave Desert and build a pyramid?
That was the plan. That's what they were inspired to do.
Okay. That was the plan, is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. How big of a pyramid are they planning on? I mean, they come in all different. Not all shapes and sizes. There's really only the one shape, but all different sizes.
It simply said full-scale pyramid, and that they would be hosting concerts inside of it for 2 weeks.
In the middle of the desert? Wow.
Just in the Mojave Desert. Mojave.
Mojave. So obviously there are some logistical concerns. What were they going to make the pyramid out of?
Vibes.
Vibes?
That's what it feels like they were making it out of, at least.
Just good times, good feelings, and...
With how poorly the construction went, that's what it feels like they were hoping it would be built by.
Oh, so they actually did try and get it started, and it was a mess?
Yeah, it was a real mess. The pyramid scaffolding failed in the first month of production.
Oh, dear. Well, how far along did they get before they decided to get rid of this idea?
After that scaffolding failure, the group decided the, quote, vibes weren't right and decided to cancel the endeavor.
When did they do this?
2013.
The vibes weren't right. Did they have some kind of budget? What did they end up spending versus what did they expect?
Well, for that, we'd have to play... No, I'm kidding. I don't have a dollar amount. I do not have one.
That's a relief. Wow. What else do I need to know about this? That is a big project incompetently executed. Maybe not incompetently, just poorly.
Yeah, I think that's all you really need to know.
Okay. This is tricky. Feels like something they'd kind of do, right? Doesn't it? Jared Leto knows no boundaries for his ambitions. I'm going to say spin.
I knew you were going to go spin the way you were talking, too.
Well, it feels like...
You were, like, trying to talk yourself into saying fact, and, like, he's going to say spin.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is, it feels like a logistical bad idea.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you get people out there? Where do they park? How do you wire a pyramid in the middle of the desert up? And if you're going to do it, how do you plan it so poorly that the scaffolding falls? How come you don't have like construction safety guidelines or any way that doesn't happen? Where's OSHA? Except for probably not in the Mojave Desert. But then the other thing is you commit to this idea and this time and this effort and what did you say, weeks of construction before the thing fell?
2 months.
Months of construction. And then at the first sign of trouble, you just stop and abandon it?
I mean, the scaffolding failing is a pretty major issue when you're trying to build a pyramid.
Yeah.
And it probably takes time to even get, like, you know, think about, like, when somebody, like, builds a house or something. Like, the first several months, nothing actually goes up. It's all, like, prep work.
That's true. Well, but I'd imagine if they were already that far along, they'd build better scaffolding and keep going.
Hey, fair enough. It's your answer. You're going spin.
That's what I think. I don't know. If I really wanted to do it, yeah, I'd find a way. I guess I don't know how pyramid scaffolding works.
If it's anything like the pyramid schemes, pretty shaky business.
Bad idea. This is a pyramid scheme. 30 Seconds to Mars did a pyramid scheme.
That should have been my title. Were you locking in spin, throwing away that key?
Yeah, did they do anything instead of this? Did they go to like a different pyramid and perform?
Oh, they absolutely did, but that's a different fact.
Oh, okay. Well, for here, let's say spin.
This is a spin.
Woo!
A spin.
No pyramid schemes for me. I really would have just built another thing.
Yeah. Instead of pyramid schemes, though, maybe you're more interested in Mars Island.
Mars Island? What in the Fire Festival are you about to tell me?
I'm about to tell you about Mars Island.
Well, I'm assuming Mars Island is not an actual place.
Oh, it absolutely is an actual place.
Like an actual island named Mars?
Well, it's an actual island that for at least this 3-day music vacation that they hosted, they called Mars Island.
Right.
But it's a private Croatian island.
Interesting. A private island in Croatia. And this is what's meant to be what they did instead of pyramid scheme. That was a spin, but...
So, yeah, to try to convince you to say fact on the last one.
Okay.
This was going to be what they did instead.
Very nice. So what stuff do they do on Mars Island?
Well, like I said, it's a 3-day music vacation for 30 Seconds to Mars fans.
Like a music festival?
Yeah, but for 30 Seconds to Mars.
Was there anything else to do besides listen to music?
Well, you camp in tents, practice yoga, enjoy late-night films, and attend intimate performances with the band.
Very nice.
Jared Leto walks around in a flowing white robe.
Typical.
It's a bit cult-like.
wearing his ear. Jared Leto walks around on a flowing rope with his ear on a private island he's named after himself, where everyone lives in tents. I think stranger things have happened.
I think apparently the island is officially called the island of Obanjan. Obanhan? I don't know how to pronounce the J in that.
See, Croatian's tricky. When did this happen?
Since 2019.
Since 2019 is a regular occurrence?
Every year, except for a 2-year hiatus during the dark years.
Yes, right. Oh, we've been there. How many people go year after year?
Decent amount.
Must be. And how much does it cost?
Well, for that, we'll have to play everybody's second favorite spinning game show. Guess that dollar amount. Let's start with the normal ticket packages.
Oh, no. That's never what you want to hear. Normal ticket package for 3 days of 30 Seconds to Mars Cult. It's so hard to tell because concert tickets are just ludicrous right now. $400.
More.
Oh, I figured since you were living in tents, maybe it would be less. $600.
More.
$1,000.
More.
Ah, you did not let me finish. $1,100 bills.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. It's kind of still a bad guess.
Less?
Let's see. $2,500.
Less.
$1,800.
Less.
$1,400.
More.
$1,500.
More.
$1,600.
More.
Oh my gosh, $1,700.
Less.
Why do we get so granular? $1,600 is a fine enough answer.
You're between 16 and 17.
$16,500.
Less.
I guess that's $1,650. That makes it sound like it's way more than it actually is if I say $16,500. $1,630.
More.
$1,640.
More.
$1,649.
Hey, you nailed it! $1,649.
$1,650 wasn't gonna get it done. So stupid. I hate this game.
Yeah. The baseline ticket package, $1,649. Now, how about the VIP package?
What does it include?
That's a good point. The VIP package, private meet and greets with the band. Not sure if this is part of the package or just something they do, but attendees also would get matching tattoos.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure that's part of the package or just something the fans were doing while there.
Part of the package if you're checking on Asking Alexandria.
Yeah, not really sure what's in the VIP package.
We'll start the bidding at $2,500.
More.
Yeah, $3,000.
More.
$5,000.
More.
That's ridiculous. I think I'm content to just know that it's over $5,000.
But the fans aren't. More.
$6,000.
More.
$8,000.
Less.
I was gonna say it's already pushing it. But to believe that this VIP package, which includes some ambiguous amount and type of thing.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't ambiguous to them.
Well, I guess not.
It's just ambiguous to me.
But do you really think that brings $5,000 of extra value? Do you think the VIP package makes it worth triple the amount of a normal standard ticket? Like, there's no way.
Dude, if I got a matching tattoo with Jared Leto.
I mean, you could get a matching tattoo with anybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
You could get any of Jared Leto's tattoos on you right now.
More than 6,000, less than 8,000 is where you're at.
7,000.
Less.
6,500.
Less.
6,499.
You nailed it!
That's pretty annoying. That almost makes me think this is all fake.
Yeah, $6,499.
So silly.
Please, if you're playing 6,500, you're getting ripped off.
Yeah. I think Mars Island, a running active annual music festival.
For 30 Seconds to Mars fans.
It's tough. I can't believe there's that kind of demand that they could keep it going for that long. Although they're bigger in other places than they are in America. I'll say fact.
Gonna go fact.
Oh, I don't know. There's some things that scare me about fact.
Oh, he doesn't know.
What scares me about fact is that you didn't know all the features of a VIP package, but also that you immediately said I was right when I made such a ridiculous guess at $6,499. Like, yeah, maybe that's true, but that's also the funniest possible option. So it's a suspicious one.
It is a suspicious one, but I'm going to need an answer.
I'll stick with fact.
It's going to stick with fact. Running 3-day Mars Island retreat for $1,649 or $6,499, depending on if you want ambiguous upgrades.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can confirm This is a true fact.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's wild.
I believe it's still continuously running. It at least ran in 2019, 2020, 2022, and 2023. I don't know if it's... I couldn't find anything after 2023 in the articles. It at least ran for multiple years, if not still running.
That's interesting. Wow. The 30 Seconds to Mars cult, where you could hang out with Jared Leto in flowing white robes. That means you could be 30 Seconds to Mars Island.
Indeed. It was so funny that you just, as a joke, guessed the right amount at because I was gonna laugh when you said 6,500, and then I said lower. I figured you dropped to like 6,400.
Nope.
And then have to work your way back up.
I'm onto their little pricing games. That little psychology trick really does come in handy, doesn't it?
What little psychology trick?
Well, pricing everything at 99.
Oh, yeah.
Look at him, living his best life for just 7,000 of your precious dollars. So in the end, they kind of did execute a pyramid scheme. I know that's not really what a pyramid scheme is. I just wanted to, I wanted to emphasize the
scheme.
The scam adjacent nature of Mars Island.
Fans are very passionate.
I'm a big fan of a lot of bands, and there's not very many of them I would drain the savings account to go hang out with.
I mean, listen, how many bands have people sending ears to their members?
I think only one. Let me rephrase. I hope only one. I would hope zero, but I've seen too much.
I hope so too. But it's pretty easy to be such a passionate fan when your band is pioneers of space rock marketing.
Space rock marketing? You're doing a really flowy style this week of running your facts together. That's nice.
You're just setting me up well.
I suppose so. So space rock marketing. Are you talking about like minerals from off the Earth? Are you talking about music with guitars that sounds futuristic?
Both. A combination of the two, I should say.
Okay.
The music mixed with space.
Is this another fact about people sending music to space?
It sure is.
Uh-oh. They pioneered space rock marketing.
They're pioneers of.
Okay, that's different a little bit.
Just a little bit. A little nuanced.
Well, what'd they do? Did they send some of their music to space?
They sure did.
Were they early on in that game?
They were.
What song? Or songs?
Their single, Up in the Air.
Oh, what a great song. So how'd they go about doing this? Did they contact NASA, SpaceX? If it's Up in the Air, they probably did it in 2013.
It was 2013. They partnered with NASA and SpaceX to send the first physical copy of their song Up in the Air into space. The first time their single was put on a physical copy, they took that one and sent it up into space.
Interesting. Like on a mission with people or just...
Yeah, on a Falcon 9 rocket to the International Space Station.
Okay. Is that where it lives? Did they shove it out into the vacuum? Did it come back?
It went up to the International Space Station, where Jared Leto watched from Cape Canaveral when it launched, and then later hopped on a video call with astronaut Tom Marshburn at Mission Control.
Wow.
And interviewed and talked about it, talked about the music. The single premiered from orbit, so the first time anybody listened to it, right, because it was the first time it had been put in anything physical. It hadn't been released yet.
Yeah.
The single premiered from orbit before being released on Earth the next day for everybody else.
That's incredibly cool. That's so fun. That's one of the coolest single premieres I've ever heard of.
But is it true?
It's a tough call on whether that's true because they've got a very space-themed name.
They sure do.
And the song Up in the Air kind of lends itself to getting shot up in the air.
It sure does.
And I just wonder whether they thought of the space thing because they're space-themed or you thought of the space spin because they're space-themed. But that is such a cool story. The first physical copy. Wow. Oh no, that's one of the ones with the golden ticket in it. Sorry, fans.
Dude, but that means one of the astronauts gets it.
Well, that's pretty cool. You're right. I think this one's a fact.
Going with fact?
I shouldn't be blinded by this, but I just want it to be true.
Blinded by the fact.
Yeah, I fear that I might be.
Shot up into space.
Great marketing. Great promo.
You want it to be true, and so you lock in true.
Yeah, that is how it's working in this case.
And in this instance, it is indeed true. This is a true fact.
Yes. Wow.
This is kind of crazy because all three of these facts you've talked about how hard of a decision it's been and to decide fact or spin, and all three times you've chosen correctly.
Yeah.
Which you usually struggle when it's hard.
It's true. I do. Yeah, because it's difficult. I guess luck's just been on my side. Maybe I'm feeling a rush coming out of Mixtober. Your power has waned and mine has gained. Maybe
you
just weren't destined to have a redemption moment this week. I don't know.
But we're not done with our space-related facts this week.
I can't get over how cool that one was. But yes, let's get more.
The band wanted to record a live album aboard the International Space Station.
Man, they're so ambitious. The pyramid thing was fake. But Mars Island is so ambitious. And the space rock marketing. So I almost said during the last fact when I joked about the golden ticket going to an astronaut, I almost said I would do that in exchange for a golden ticket to the space station. That'd be pretty cool. But I didn't say that, so you're just going to have to take my word for it.
Oh, okay.
They wanted to record a live album on the International Space Station. The logistics are so much worse than the pyramid thing.
Uh-huh.
So much more impossible than the pyramid.
Yeah.
What was the conversation with NASA like about that one? How's this idea start?
Like with most ideas, Jared Leto.
Yeah.
NASA pretty quickly shut down the idea of sending the band to the International Space Station.
Well, he sells rocket toys. He's full of experience.
And his music had already made it there. So why not him?
So this is after 2013?
Yeah, this is recently.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, this is 2024.
Wow. Oh, but this is a time when a lot of people with a lot of money are going into space. Look at Katy Perry.
Yeah, not to this International Space Station, like barely into orbit.
No, you're right. That's a significant difference in logistics and expense and everything. How long, hypothetically, would they have to have been on the ISS in order to get this done?
I don't know. I don't think it ever got there. But I know, they would have to stay for a little while just so their bodies had time to adjust before coming back down, right?
Yeah, well, there's the adjustment.
Isn't there like a holding period?
You got to acclimate to 0G.
Yeah.
You got to record this album, which is already going to be a logistical nightmare. Look, a guitar is one thing, and I'm sure you could find a way to amplify it or record it. Sure, fine. Drums? You put your drummer on the ISS and you tell me how he's feeling. Forget about it. The cymbals floating away.
Listen, NASA pretty quickly shut down this idea, but they did entertain their follow-up ask. When you're negotiating, you always shoot for the moon and then settle for what you really want.
I mean, shoot, they shot for the moon and settled for the ISS. I don't know. Well, what's their settlement here?
Their follow-up ask was to record a music video inside NASA's zero-gravity simulator.
Now that's fun. And I kind of thought when you said a second best option, I was thinking, what if they did just make music in 0G? You could simulate it. They have those planes, right, that you go up and drop, and it feels like zero gravity.
But again, how do you play during that?
You certainly don't. You bolt the drums down and strap yourself in and hope for the best. I don't know.
So their follow-up ask that NASA did entertain was to record a music video in their zero-gravity machine. But negotiations turned sour on that one.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
Well, Jared Leto got a little bold once they started entertaining that idea and started increasing the ask.
Uh-oh.
He was very insistent that for this video that he wanted to be, floating in zero gravity.
Sure.
And he wanted incense smoke surrounding him. And that's when NASA started to have problems of how they were going to introduce like smoke into their test environment and, what that would do. Apparently that was a deal breaker.
Yeah. What is, functionally, what is NASA's zero gravity simulator?
It's the simulator that their astronauts train in. It's a big space that is able to help them acclimate, similar to what you were talking about, but on the ground, simulate zero gravity conditions. They can run missions, practice maneuverability and stuff like that from the ground.
Yeah, but how does it work? How does it simulate no gravity?
See, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure I could look it up, but I don't know. I'm just a simple dastard. I don't understand zero gravity machines.
Maybe it's something like I've seen things in kids science museums that emulate moon gravity by you stand on a scale and it gets your weight and then you strap into a machine that counterbalances you so you can jump around and it feels like it would feel if you were on the moon. So maybe it's something like that.
Let's see. NASA has the Zero Gravity Research Facility, microgravity research, largest facility of its kind in the world. The facility is one of 2 drop towers located at NASA's space. It was designed and built during the space era of 1960s. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure if I dug through their website here, I could find out more, but we don't got time for that.
No. Either way, it doesn't sound like something you want smoke filling up.
Yeah, and also it was probably already kind kind of like a wild ask to begin with, right? I'm sure there was people pushing back on it already.
Yeah.
So once he started insisting on these other like logistical nightmares, they were probably just like, you know what? Never mind.
It's easier to not do this.
Yeah.
So how far, like, did they get? He didn't budge, and they kicked him out. What'd they do instead? Did they do anything? And what song was this for?
Yeah, they have not released any, like, live albums or any music videos at all even related to this that I'm aware of.
Maybe not.
So I don't know if it was one of those figure out the cool thing to do and then come up with the song second or what.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, I absolutely believe that they wanted to do this. I absolutely believe they tried, and I absolutely believe that they over-asked. If this is a spin, it's a very, very well done spin, because so far, this is the one I'm having the least trouble with. I mean, this all sounds so believable to me.
Maybe that means you're actually having the most trouble with it.
Yeah, well, yeah, if I get it wrong, then yeah, I had so much trouble I didn't even realize. I think it's a fact. I think a live album on the International Space Station sounds inconceivable. I mean, that's hard to even conceptualize. But good on them for trying. Bad on them for not taking the deal. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
We should reach out to NASA and see if they want to send us there to record the first live podcast.
That'd be fun. Podcast from space.
Keep spinning because you're in 0G and can't stop.
Oh, not bad.
This is a spin.
Wow.
You had trouble with it, you didn't even know.
Oh, one fake fact away from my perfect week.
Yes.
I'll settle for no redemption.
Instead, we just repeat history 3-1.
Yeah, but the opposite. The grapes was the one I missed last time, and it was first. This time, I was fine for the start of it, and I missed the end. How'd you get here? What's this? This is a very good spin.
Completely made up. They didn't even try any of this.
Wow. If any band ever was to do it, it would be 30 Seconds to Mars.
If I'm being 100% honest, it's actually, I knew about the Zero Gravity Research Facility in Cleveland, and that was kind of the inspiration for it, but it was just kind of like, oh, they're a space-themed band name, and there's this cool research center in Cleveland. What can I do with this? And then I was looking for a final ramp.
Yeah, and it just worked out that they had the other ties to the space marketing, to the space rock.
Well, exactly. So then I did the space rock marketing. I was looking for a final ramp. I was like, well, let's just go absurd. Like, what's be more absurd than launching music into space, going to space themselves? I'm like, but you'll never believe that. And so then I just kind of evolved.
Well, that was solid. Definitely the easiest to believe, and of course the most incorrect one to believe. Well, Mixtaper, no redemption for you, but I really enjoyed this round of facts. It was also cool that they were more band focused too, because last time there was a lot of Jared Leto this and Jared Leto that.
Yeah, which I wanted to talk about the band this time around.
Yeah. Now I know 4 new things about 62nd to Mars.
You're 8 out of infinity.
8 out of infinity. That's right.
Your dent has doubled.
Yep. I'm getting closer to knowing everything about 30 Seconds to Mars. And so are you.
On the road to infinity out of infinity.
Yeah, I think we got a long way to go.
And a short time to get there.
An infinite amount of time to get there.
I leave you with an infinite... Yeah.
Oh boy. That was a long one. That was pretty infinite. Well, welcome back, Connor.
Happy to be back. Glad to see you didn't let him redeem himself.
Nah, I try not to.
He doesn't deserve it.
No. Well, let's talk about this album art. Thankfully, it's not the same as the album art on America, which is just a bunch of words over and over and over. Interesting that they did 10 of those. It's kind of cool. The original cover of A Beautiful Lie is simple and evocative. It is just a left justified rose.
Oh, that is not what I'm looking at.
No, because you're looking on Spotify, I presume.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deluxe edition of the record, and then some of the later versions, they've got an alternate cover that's a circle of skulls with arrows pointing to the center. They have their cool little logo around it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
About which one? I haven't seen the other one.
Well, it's a left justified rose.
I prefer my roses center justified.
Well, I think in this case it works better on the left.
Double spaced.
Double spaced rose. A rose.
I mean, all I know is an album art of any other style would be just as sweet.
That's very Shakespearean of you.
Oh, that is a left justified rose.
Yes. It's minimalistic.
I actually like that better.
Me too.
I like that better. The skulls aren't doing it for me nearly as much as the rose.
No, they're kind of dark and confusing, and I get that this album's supposed to be personal, right? More on an individual level than the cosmic grandeur of their first album. But the rose, there's just something about a beautiful lie. Like, the rose is beautiful. It's a beautiful flower, but it's got thorns and it'll prick you if you're not careful. It's deceptive in its beauty. And I think that's a great image. It's a great metaphor that you just lose entirely with skulls and arrows. Like, what even is that? I think it's simple, it's clever, really works for me, that rose. But let's get into it. Without further ado, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on a 30 Seconds to Mars album that's not America. I mean, I've been waiting for that for 200 episodes now. And up first, we kick it off with Attack. It was the lead single, one of the first 30 Seconds to Mars songs I ever knew, so a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in it for me. Attack charted on the US Alternative Airplay and mainstream rock charts, and charted in 4 other countries as well. For me, I think with that opening guitar riff and Jared Leto's screams and stuff into the chorus, Attack has a certain energy, like a big, powerful style to it. This song alone, I think, is better than anything they did on America. And I knew that when we did the last episode, and still, there we were. What did you think? Have you heard Attack before? It's one of their more popular songs.
I have not. Not that I recognized, at least. I quite like it.
Yeah.
I can see why it's one of their more popular ones.
No kidding. I feel like we're doing some reverse comparison here, like retroactively comparing it to America, which was not even a thought in their heads when this song came out. But listen to the differences.
Yeah, well, I purposely didn't go re-listen to America leading up to this, so I didn't have it in my head to compare to. Outside of the playlist ones that I know pretty well,
Yeah.
I purposely didn't go re-listen, so I could try to not compare, since this came before.
That's reasonable.
Like, if it came after, I'd kind of want to be able to compare to see how they've evolved over time. But since we're kind of going back in time, I didn't think it was fair.
Yeah, accurate. I think that's reasonable. I just like the analog sound. Even when they're using synthesizers, there's just a certain closeness that you feel on a lot of these songs that is just absent from the grandeur of America. And it's still got an intensity to it, and I like it a lot. I just figured you might have heard Attack, too, because it's in video games like The Fast and the Furious, Madden NFL 06.
I have not played either of those.
Okay, well, I mean, it was DLC for Rock Band. It was in Guitar Hero 5.
Didn't own the DLC for Rock Band, didn't play Guitar Hero 5.
Man, you really let 30 Seconds to Mars down again.
Well, maybe they should have been in better video games.
Well, yeah, maybe. Attack is such an interesting song. They had it sitting on the shelf for a while, and it almost didn't even make the cut for this record. Jared said Attack was a song that wasn't scheduled to be recorded at all. I'd been playing it. On acoustic, it was great, but when we played it as a band, it just fell flat on its face. And since it wasn't really working, Jared was joking around with producer Josh Abraham one night, and he said, "Hey, do you want to hear a hit song?" And then he played Attack for him, obviously saying this is not going to be a hit. We can't even make it work. And when he played the song for him, Josh Abraham said, "That's the best song you have. That's the best song you've made. You have to record it. It has to be on this album." So good judgment on his part. That is the reason Attack exists as we know and love it. It's a nice resolute anthem. I won't suffer or be broken or get tired. A new day's coming and I'm finally free. That's a sentiment that they explore to death throughout their whole discography. But how do you feel about Runaway, Runaway, I'll Attack? I just can't imagine the emotions that would be stirred up if I were attacked by Jared Leto.
I could.
Yeah, I don't know, just a wild man in a white robe chasing you across the island with an ear around his neck screaming. I'd run away.
Yeah, I'd just run away. Probably scream a little.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of screaming, what do you think of his voice here?
I like it.
I do too. I like that they've taken off a lot of the reverb and stuff. He's got a bite to it that I really like. I think Attack's a great album opener, sets the energy, really keys us up for the rest of the experience. And then we move pretty quickly into another one of the album's highlights. This feels like a very front-loaded album. But up next is track 2, A Beautiful Lie.
Title track!
Absolutely. This song pivots. It starts a little softer before it kind of explodes 12 seconds in with the guitars and the heavy stuff. But even the verse feels a little softer. Lie in bed awake at night and think about your life. Do you want to be different? Life is just a beautiful lie. You know, that's what they're talking about. It's perfect denial. Everything is not what it seems. It's all deceptive and fleeting. And I mean, there's a lot of lyrics at work in this song.
Like what?
Like what? Well, I mean, look at the contrast between Attack, which is such a powerful, I'm finally free, run away, I'm coming, I'm gonna get you, I'm attacking, I'm powerful, and I'm breaking out. And then this song is like, I'm lying awake in bed at night, I'm trying to wash away what's happened to me, I'm running around in circles, plagued with a quiet desperation, like, This song is so much more like frightened and panicked. This song feels like someone who's responding to the attacker in Attack.
Yeah.
It's just a really interesting track. This song was the album's fourth single, and it charted at number 37 on the US Modern Rock chart. I think it's a great title track. Again, with the metaphor of the rose, and the way that this whole album is kind of thematically structured to be personal and about individual lives. To call it A Beautiful Lie and use the imagery of life being beautiful but deceptive. It's a good three thread for everything. I'd still say this song's better than Everything on America.
Everything? I don't know about that.
I think you could maybe make an argument for Walk on Water.
Yeah, Walk on Water is great. But it's definitely better than a lot of it.
Yeah, they're just two totally different kinds of songs. Well, the Mixtaper, he just told us about all these ambitions that 30 Seconds to Mars has had for their performances and music videos, right? Whether it's islands, pyramids, space stations, etc.
Zero gravity machines.
Well, A Beautiful Lie is a song that they started out with another grandiose concept for and had to scale way back. They wanted to shoot the music video at the North Pole, which is sick.
That is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. But they had to pivot to Greenland and Iceland instead. They couldn't quite make it to the North Pole. Also, though, side note, in learning that fact, I learned that the first undisputed people to cross the North Pole did it in an airship in 1926, like in a blimp. The first people ever to cross the North Pole did it in a blimp in 1926. But then, the first verified people to get there on foot only did so in 1948, which was a lot more recently than I'd expect. Like, humans have only set foot on the North Pole for the last 80 years. In all of human history, 80 years we've had access to the North Pole on foot.
That's pretty remarkable, yeah.
But of course, to get out there with equipment and film a music video, yeah, it's a little tougher. So Greenland and Iceland it was. Jared Leto took that music video and kind of turned it into a bit of a documentary about global warming. And he said that proceeds from every download of the video would go towards an environmental charity.
Oh.
Yeah, another example of a beautiful lie. Like, we're living this life on this beautiful planet, but everything we do has a consequence, has a thorn, right? Every rose has its thorn. Every
rose has its thorn.
Every night has its dawn. Yeah.
Every rock band.
What do they do?
Has crazy ambitions.
That's true. Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful lie. I like it a lot. It's a great second track and a great title for this album.
One thing I wanted to note real fast was in that middle part where it gets echoey and kind of like everything backs away, but the voice echoes. That gave me America vibes for a split second.
Yeah.
Because we talked about a lot on America, how that more echoey, loud, stadium anthem sound they had.
Yeah.
Like that. We talked about how that album probably sounded way better in a stadium than it does just like through headphones when you're alone.
Oh, absolutely.
And that moment where everything drops out is just the vocal echoing. I was like, oh, they probably this is like that a little early peek into what America would become.
Yeah, like it makes sense that their sound evolved to what America is, but like America is all that sound.
Yeah,
it's fine when it's just a part of what you're doing, like here on A Beautiful Lie and throughout this album.
Mm-hmm.
But they just kind of stripped away everything else.
Too much of a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of stuff that makes 30 Seconds to Mars the 30 Seconds to Mars that I enjoy from the first couple albums really just got left by the wayside on America. But lucky for our redemption episode, it's all still here now. And that's true about The Kill especially. The Kill was the second single and arguably the most successful track from this record. On its release, it went to number 65 on the Billboard Hot 100, and today it is certified 2 times platinum. And at the time, it actually broke the record for the longest stint on the Modern Rock Tracks chart. It was on there for a full 52 weeks. Jared Leto talks about The Kill, and he says, it is confrontation as a crossroads. What he said is, it's really about a relationship with yourself. It's about confronting your fear and confronting the truth about who you are. So again, that ties really well back into this theme of A Beautiful Lie and their overall ambitions for a personal album. Like, life is deceptive. You gotta kill the extra parts of yourself to find out the roots of what you are. Break me down, bury me. What a song. How'd you feel about The Kill? We're still kind of in a hard rock mode.
Yeah, but this is we did some very hard metal recently. It was a little too much for me.
Yeah.
This is like that sweet spot for me. I like this.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to gauge. Whether his screams were too much when, the Asking Alexandria screams were kind of a lot. But bury me, I'm finished with you. There's so much emotion that he packs into those lyrics. I think his delivery is just fantastic throughout. What's cool about The Kill, too, is, and Jared Leto said, The exciting thing about this song is the fact that it's in 3/4 time. It was in a classic waltz. He said it's a little bit fast of a tempo, but that's what was exciting about it too, is the fact that we were able to do something classic and that tied some elements together. It's not very often you hear a song like this in 3/4. Like most bands just jump straight for the common time. And it's refreshing to hear it all changed up in a way that feels totally natural and not forced.
Is it actually at waltz tempo or just waltz time signature?
Well, it's fast.
What's our beats per minute here?
It's fast for waltz tempo, but waltz time signature, yes, it definitely is.
Yeah. I mean, plenty of things are in 3/4 time.
Waltzers are usually like under 100 beats per minute, but
Yeah, you're talking like 84 to 90.
But there's a very fast Viennese waltz in Vienna that can reach 180 beats per minute.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, the three signature pieces of a waltz are typically 3/4 time signature, slow BPM, and a strong emphasis on the first beat to create that pop pop rhythm.
Yeah, I don't know about the strong emphasis on the first beat, but it looks like
Really, all this has is going for it is the 3/4 time signature.
Well, it does look like it's got a tempo of 80 beats per minute.
Does it?
That's what I'm seeing.
It just must be masked because of the...
It depends, I guess. It could also be 183 beats per minute or halftime at 92 beats per minute. Like, there's a room for variation in there.
Sure.
It depends on whether you're counting it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or like 1, 2, 3, 1. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on how it was written, right? I mean,
yeah.
Is it written with a bunch of eighth notes or a bunch of quarter notes? That's going to set your how that breaks out.
It's a great question. Yeah, it's a very interesting situation here. But also, probably tough for the internet to tell because there are a few different versions of the kill. There's this version, which is the standard normal single album version, and there are a couple different styles. There's an orchestral, toned down version called the Rebirth Edition, and then there's the version that's exclusive to Brazil and features the Brazilian singer Pity. She features on it. So that's interesting. Not often you see a Brazilian exclusive. Also fun, the music video for The Kill was largely based on The Shining, which is very interesting. Have you seen The Shining?
I have. Have you?
Yes, and I read the book, but I read the book first, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of all time. It's so cool. And then I watched the movie, and I was really tracking with it until they made some major and unnecessary changes that totally took it away from the book and really bombed the movie for me.
That's interesting because most people probably haven't read the book, and to them the movie is iconic, right?
Yeah, no, even Stephen King himself doesn't like the Shining movie.
Now, did you see Doctor Sleep?
No, but I read the book for that lately too. So I do need to see Doctor Sleep, the movie. I have higher hopes. It's different. It's not as iconic as The Shining, but it is a nice...
Sure.
It's a solid Stephen King book. It's on my bookshelf right now. So I thought the Shining tie-in was interesting, but what I found even more interesting is that the Kill music video is the very first time Jared Leto assumed the pseudonym of Bartholomew Cubbins. It's the first time he put that moniker on as a director. We talked last time about how that's a character from a Dr. Seuss book, the 500 hats of Bartholomew Cubbins and stuff. He submitted it as a jokey name, but nobody questioned it, and so he just kind of kept it. I learned a little bit about that Dr. Seuss book now that I know the story behind Bart Cubbins, and it's not written in Dr. Seuss fleebledy-flobbledy poetry style. It's more of a prose book, and it's about this little dude who grows new hats, and people keep trying to take his hats, but he keeps growing more hats, so they try and kill him, but they can't kill him as long as he's wearing a hat. So that's interesting. Is that a Dr. Seuss tale that you've heard of?
No.
Yeah, me either. And what a weird one. I found a quote from Jared about his philosophy on music videos, and I think, it definitely applies to The Shining and the visuals for this, but also, for the North Pole ambitions and the moon, and just all of their music videos are so visually engaging and their ambitions are so high. This is kind of his philosophy for him. He says, I think the approach really was that it was never, for me, a 3.5-minute commercial for the song. It was really, how do we explore this song in visual terms? How do we take this auditory experience and turn it into something where the images bring the song to a new place? So that's what he tries to do. He tries to augment your listening experience with appropriate visuals,
Yeah.
It's a good philosophy, good tactic. Well, we're off to a really strong start on this album. I think it is very front-loaded, very top-heavy.
Yeah, the first three are big ones.
Yeah. The first song that I didn't know from my singles exploration is track 4, Was It a Dream?
What was it?
I think canonically the answer is no. Was It a Dream explores the aftermath of a relationship. Things were good, but then sit back and think about it once it's over. Was it a dream? Did that really just happen? That's kind of the gist of it. It is so far the softest and slowest, and probably most like sincere song on the album. While I think I would say that A Beautiful Lie is a little bit more vulnerable, Was It a Dream feels pretty honest and open. How did their slower style grab you?
I like it.
Yeah.
4 for 4 for me.
4 for 4 is pretty good. Call that the Wendy's effect. Although they don't do that anymore. I thought Was It a Dream is pretty strong. It feels a little repetitive and the melody doesn't quite move as much as the previous tracks. So I think it ends up being a little less memorable. But I think it's a really strong, almost bridge track on side 1 of this album. I think you get through 1 through 3, Was It a Dream kind of bridges you to 5, 6, and then you flip it over and get into the second side. It kind of has this like hanging quality. That end of the chorus, a photograph of you and I, kind of just floats over you in a really like interesting way that I like. Their harmony is really good. The guitar tone is great on Was It a Dream. I just don't think it has a lot of dynamic movement.
No.
Kind of stays at its level the whole time.
It's definitely my least favorite of the 4, but it's still better than most of America.
Yeah, the country, not the album.
Well.
No, definitely better than most of America, the album. And that trend, I think, continues with the Fantasy. The Fantasy is another one that I knew beforehand, and it's just such a cool moment. To start with the bass kind of doing what it does, then the drums and the guitar kind of kick in with this little lead line at the same time. There's like an urgency to it. The Fantasy, it's gone down as one of the more popular, enduring songs from this album. And it's kind of easy to see why. It feels like the opposite of Was It a Dream, right? You're talking, did this really happen or was it a dream? And now we're getting past the idea of this was like a dream that it almost didn't happen into the fantasy. I'm living, I'm dying for the fantasy. I'm projecting this dream forward into the future. It's like a whole opposite. We've gone to the complete other side of the spectrum of non-existent things. I think it's just got such a good power to it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think I have too much practically to say about it, but I just really like it.
Same. There's not a lot to really say about it.
No, it's just well written. Not many lyrics happening that are too different. Say it to me. Automatic, I'd imagine. It's just, that's fine. A lot of chorus, but the chorus is good, so it doesn't bother me. Savior is another song I didn't know until I got into this album in its entirety. This one kind of experiments with this parallelism in its lyrics. Until you this, until you that. Until you this, until you that. Until you this, until you that. Don't save me, because I don't care. That is okay.
Rescue me.
Like, that's a kind of a weak sentiment in the chorus there. That apathy really falls flat on me. Don't save me is fine. You don't want to be saved. Give me some better reason than, whatever. I feel like it's a wasted opportunity to do a little more with that.
I do like the rhythm to it, though. The don't save me, don't save me.
Yeah.
It's a good hook. Just, the sentiment's a little weak.
The drumming is incredible. Impossible to pull off in 0G. But man, it sounds great. Savior's a good length. A lot of these songs kind of venture and wander their way up over 4 minutes. Not in a way that's like egregious, but they're definitely not in a hurry to get to the end of any of these songs. Savior feels like when they get in, get out. And I like that. That brevity is kind of refreshing. Then we get into the second half of the record. The second half of a top-heavy record is gonna run into some issues sometimes, but thankfully, it is not immediate. From Yesterday kind of kicks us off on the second side. That was the third single. From Yesterday was the band's first #1 on the Billboard charts. It topped the Modern Rock Tracks chart. It only went to number 76 on the Hot 100 though, but it did chart in a dozen other countries. So that's nice. From Yesterday feels like a good blend of their softer ballad style of Was It a Dream and their more intense style of something like A Beautiful Lie. I think From Yesterday is the sweet spot where those two things meld.
Do you have a map of the world?
Certainly not on my face. But hey, if you go to Mars Island, maybe that's a good matching tattoo to suggest.
I prefer my world to be in globe form.
Well, you can get it around your whole head.
Oh, I wonder if anybody's ever done that.
Tattooed the globe on their head?
Yeah.
I think the answer is no. I'm going to say no. No one's probably done that.
I mean, there's been plenty of people who've done like full face tattoos, right? So why not one of the globe?
Well, I can think of a few reasons.
But in a world where you've already decided to tattoo your entire head, why not the globe? You don't have to worry about that changing on you, like your love of whatever fling you decided to put on your head.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to have a little more staying power than like significant other's last name.
Although we did just rename it to the Gulf of America, so that depending on how detailed your map was.
No.
Globe was.
30 Seconds to Mars got the Gulf too. No. Do you believe you can walk on water? It's been right in front of us all along. From Yesterday is another song that got an incredible music video. In its longest form, From Yesterday is a 13-minute short film.
Jeez.
I know, really going all out. It was filmed in China with 400 Chinese soldiers. They shot on location in the Forbidden City, which is, it's absurd. That's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Like, how did they get to film in the Forbidden City? It is supposed to be the first ever American music video filmed entirely in China. So that's interesting. 30 Seconds to Mars breaking down barriers. The rest of the album from this point on was new to me with listening to this record. These weren't singles that I found when I was a kid, except maybe Hunter. I think I might have listened to the Hunter once or twice. But there's still some good stuff back here. We kick off this last stretch of the album with The Story. It is once again a song about life.
What story?
The story of my life, the lies I've created.
The story of my life.
No, not the One Direction one. Gosh, maybe that's why there's arrows on the cover. The story feels like a watered down thematically version of A Beautiful Lie. I have to remember this is just a game, it's a beautiful lie, versus this is the story of my life that I've created. We've already got all this stuff about dreams and fantasies and ambitions and hopes. The story of my life, the lies that I've created, doesn't feel like it does anything new for this album. It's also slower. It doesn't have the exciting wow factor of most of the earlier songs. It doesn't have the memorable melody. The story's close to my bottom 3. How did you feel about this story?
It's okay.
Yeah, is this the first one that's not a hit for you? Have we gone 7 for 7 up till now?
7 for 7. And the story is not a hit for me.
Yeah.
I think the longer run times of some of the earlier tracks has just started to weigh on me by track 8.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think on its own, like if I was just cold listened to the story, I maybe wouldn't have had any fatigue and it would have stood out a little better.
Yeah. For me, I think the story is maybe one of the first tracks that would rank in the middle of the pack amongst America songs. I think I could find a little bit more from America to put above the story than From Yesterday, which is nothing.
That's fair.
But they kind of come back. Revolve is next, but like evolve, they kind of try to do this clever little wordplay pun with the title.
Does it work?
Not at face value. If you get into the lyrics and you start talking about the revolution is coming, that's funny, right? Revolution, everything twists, everything changes. And with a revolution, everything does evolve at the same time. Like, I get it in that context. But just to look at it, no, it doesn't work. Like, you could have maybe come up with a better title for the song. But conceptually, the song, I think, is fine. Another unique start to this one with the guitar. It kind of feels like the Blink-182 start, on like an Adams song or something. And the melody does a little bit of a different thing here. Kind of walks up through the scale as he sings.
For me, I don't know. There's not anything new happening at this point.
No, there's not.
Lyrically, musically, like nothing new's happening.
Yeah, and that's tough when you get to the back half of the album and the tracks are already kind of weaker. We're kind of getting the worst of the album last. And by all intents, purposes, and Spotify play counts, like that holds up in the listener opinions too. Like, of the last 5 tracks, 4 of them are the least streamed songs on the album, and it's not necessarily particularly close.
Yeah.
And that's the danger. You front load an album like this, and it starts off so strong, and it feels so good. And then by the time you get to the end of it, you're fatigued and you're burnt out, and nothing's quite keeping you there. The songs get shorter, which is a mercy. But even still, I think there's obviously plenty of valid criticism to still level at 30 Seconds to Mars, even in this better era than America. That's true about A Modern Myth, too. It kind of still attempts something a little new, but it's just a lot of the same lyrics. The secret's out, goodbye, 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 goodbye. So many goodbyes. I think it's just a lyrical lightweight, even though the music is kind of good and it's a pretty solid ballad.
I like the instrumentals. I like the strings.
Yeah, ballad guy. It's coming back.
Yeah, A Modern Myth is my honorable mention, actually.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Specifically for the instrumentation, because we got something new.
We did. And it only took them this long to give it to us. I think it's not so bad at all. Then we get to the almost title track of this album, Battle of One.
Almost title track!
You know what I just said about a lyrical lightweight in Modern Myth? double it and give it to the next person. Because there's nothing going on in a battle of one. I mean, there's nothing. Try and stop me. Try and save me. Try and crush me. Teach me. I want to fall. I want to fall. I want to fall. I want to fall. Come on. We're all out of words. They've sung themselves out of words. How is this going to be the title? It feels edgier than a lot of the earlier stuff. It feels kind of more like a hard rock song than the pseudo like space stadium emo. The sweeping nature that they're going for is kind of lost on the Battle of One. It's there in his vocals, but the music definitely has a lot more grounded style to it. It's just a little 2 3/4 of a minute, just kind of a jam, just kind of a break. But I don't know if I need a break here. Just get rid of it, you know? It's fine, but it doesn't really add much.
Yeah, I agree.
Just gives them a chance to beat the drums really hard, I guess.
Well, I will never knock a person coming up with a reason to beat drums really hard.
No, that's true. Touché. But we've kind of been on this downward spiral, and the album closes at its lowest point in terms of like popularity and Spotify plays with Hunter. It is not often that you see an album fall off in the way that A Beautiful Lie falls off.
Yeah. Again, it just goes to what we've talked about in the past. How you lay out your album matters.
Yeah, it's really important. The Hunter loses all, like, grounding. This song feels like it tries to be floaty and aloof and almost in, like, a Black Sabbath, like, Space Caravan kind of way, right? But it just doesn't. The lyrics and the drums and the rhythms all feel kind of disconnected from each other in a way that's not complimentary for most of the Hunter.
The problem is I like Hunter. I like the idea of Hunter.
Yeah, I'm leaving it all behind and I'm going hunting. Kind of a nice loop for I'll Attack at the beginning of the album.
Yeah, well, and just the execution's interesting, even if it's not that... I don't know. It's one that when I was listening to it with my headphones on, the way it builds and the constant thud in the background, it was very cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's ambitious. It feels like the one-track mind of this album. If you remember One Track Mind from America, I feel the same way about that one as I do about this.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's pretty much the album. I think we should get into some final spin.
Let's do it.
Well, this is obviously a redemption pick for me. I don't think it's possible to get much lower than America on a score level. I deliberately brought that one because it wasn't my favorite 30 Seconds to Mars collection. So the redemption here should come as no surprise. I'm curious to see how much of a redemption it is for you. It sounds like this one hit a lot more often than America did, even though we end with a bad taste in our mouths at the end. But for my scores, giving the music an 83. It's hard to remember that this album should get an 83 by the time you've gotten through the back half, but if you can think back to the first half, there's a lot of good stuff to salvage some solid points there. Jared Leto has a really interesting melodic writing style, and it does play well in stadiums and crowds. That's true still for A Beautiful Lie like it was on America, but unlike America, he doesn't pander to it here. It feels like a lot of America was written for crowds. This one's just written the way that he wants to write it, and it works well with crowds. So I think that makes a big difference. Given the lyrics an 80, I like their more introspective scale. The cosmic generalities are not really anywhere to be found, and that's nice. There's a lot of critiques of human nature here, a lot of observations about the way people operate. I don't think they're all necessarily the most relatable. I've never had feelings like Attack and The Kill, but it's fine. It's all still well and good. Given the instruments and production in 84. Love the guitars, love the drums. This is 30 Seconds to Mars at what I would call almost their musical best, at least at the high points of this album.
The closest they've ever been to Mars?
The closest they've ever been to Mars, yeah.
Since we determined 30 seconds was, relative to speed. This was the closest they were ever to Mars when they were 30 seconds out.
Yes, correct. Overall vibe, 83. Not bad, not the greatest, room for improvement, but also really strong chops. So overall, I'm giving A Beautiful Lie an 83.2, and that lands it at number 520, which is, as far as episodes we've done, it's above 21 Pilots and below Avenged Sevenfold. Now, what's interesting is how that kind of compares to America.
Yeah?
If you look at the America episode, America is ranked number 502 compared to this one, which I just ranked at 520. But the score is so different, and my list has grown so much that this album now is 300 40 slots above America. Isn't that remarkable?
Despite scoring.
Despite its placement being, the number being different.
Yeah.
Its score is so much higher. America, I gave a 53 for the music. Oof. A 48 for the lyrics. I gave it a 78 on the instruments and the production, because it did really try for that. But the vibe was a 66, and the overall was a 57.6. So, America, despite coming in at 502 when we made the episode, 200 weeks ago, it is now sitting at a measly 865.
It's crazy to think that you've added 300 in that time.
I know. It is only 10 albums from the lowest on my list, and it's still my second lowest ranked episode so far. So, definitely a big time redemption to see a 300 album jump and a 25 point score change.
Yeah, but what I'm hearing is this album has a worse score.
No.
Has a worse placement when it came out compared to when America came out.
If you listen to the episodes and nothing else, then they'd be a bit confusing. But one glance at the ranking spreadsheet on www.spinitpod.com will clear that right up.
Yeah, but that's too much work. Listen, I'm not going to go to www.spinitpod.com. What's even there for me to look at?
So much. The ranking list and all of our past episodes and trivia and games and...
Wait, the ranking list and all of our past episodes and games and trivia is all found at www.spinitpod.com?
That's right. This is ridiculous. It's true, though.
It's true and ridiculous. All that you can find at www.
Oh my gosh. You know what else you can find there? You can find Connor's scores there.
You can find my scores there.
And we're about to add another one to them right now.
We're about to add another one to them right now.
Why are you doing this again?
It wasn't intentional that time. It was more of me just answering what you were saying.
It feels like it's always intentional. But go on.
Call and response.
How does A Beautiful Lie compare to your America score?
Perfect score.
Oh, goodness. Well,
it's a beautiful lie.
Oh, you're right. I'm in perfect denial about that one.
No, definitely an improvement. Definitely a redemption. America, for me, scored a 4 and has remained a 4 because mine don't move around.
Well, your numbers don't move around, and neither do my scores. They can if I change them, but
It, at the time, was my lowest ranked episode at the time. 2 weeks later, it was replaced by Cheap Thrills. But it still is my 13th lowest scored album.
So hard not to be redeeming.
Hard not to be redeeming. My top 3 in album order: Attack, The Kill, From Yesterday, and honorable mention to A Modern Myth.
Yeah, that's the only surprise out of that, is your honorable mention. Everything else, yeah, of course.
What do you think my honorable mention would be?
I don't know. I decided to not think it would be anything, so that anything would be a surprise.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a good way to do it. I just thought the instrumentals on A Modern Myth were mentionable.
Yeah.
And so now they've been mentioned.
There you go. Your one moment in the sun.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to give this album 6 miles from Mars.
Miles from Mars, okay. If you're traveling at the right speed.
But they're still only 30 seconds from Mars, so you can do the math at what speed they're traveling.
Pretty fast. That's pretty fast. 6 miles in 30 seconds is 12 miles a minute. About 120 miles an hour.
More than that. 100 and...
Well, if you're going 60 miles an hour, that's a mile a minute. No, you're right.
Well, I'm just saying if you're at, you said you were at 12 miles.
12 miles a minute. That's 720 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Pretty fast.
That's how fast they were going this time around.
6 is a decent redemption over, a 4.
A 4? That's a 2-number upgrade.
Yeah, but I can't help but notice everything we bring for the year of redemption still gets a 6. Why is this happening? Olivia Rodrigo is our lone exception, right? The Beach Boys got their 6. Radiohead got their 6.
Yeah, Olivia Rodrigo scored right next to herself.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars is getting their 6. Everything's just redeeming into the 6s. That's remarkable. What a phenomenon.
That is a phenomenon. I didn't notice that.
Where in your 6s is it going?
For me, it's gonna go, because I did quite like it, it's gonna go right up below. It's gonna go right below Apoptosis by Innerwave.
Ah.
So pretty high in the 6s. It's above the Beach Boys.
It's above the Beach Boys today.
And their Pags of Snad.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice? Pags of Snad. Wow.
So 2 redemptioners sitting right next to one another.
Yeah, not how I envisioned the year going, but very interesting nevertheless. What's your playlist pick?
For me, I'm gonna have to go Attack. I'm gonna go with the opening track, Attack.
Wow. Okay, that gives me a lot of freedom. It's one of my favorites too, so I'm happy to have it on the playlist. I think I want to give a little bit of credit to the balladier side of the album.
Oh.
But not too much, because there's not too many ballad-esque songs on this album anyway. But I'm gonna going to stick my playlist pick on From Yesterday, which I think balances attack rather nicely.
I like it.
Me too. Plus, it's got the cool Chinese music video, which is a really wild and unique story. So I'm all about it. But that's going to do it for another Redemption episode. I feel satisfied. I felt unrest in my very soul since the America episode because I knew I did 30 Seconds to Mars dirty, and I was just living with that guilt for 200 weeks. So this is a whole big weight off my shoulders. I feel like we've been redeemed. I called it back then that they needed a Redemption episode. Boy, was I right. So I'm happy we made it. If you want more from the Year of Redemption, or you want to see other episodes we've done, follow us on socials, all that stuff, you can find us on Instagram at SpinItPodOfficial and on X at SpinItPod. And of course, there is a certain website you can go to find all the content that we talked about earlier, including the ranking spreadsheet, bonus content, some live stream archives, trivia, games, all the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff at www.spinitpod.com.
That's right, www.spinitpod.com.
And to be clear, the website is not www.3ws, www.spinitpod.com. It is just www.spinitpod.com.
Yeah, you just start it with the www, like every website you go to.
Well, just being clear. Don't want to screw up getting somebody to our website because they were following your instructions to a T.
My ambiguous directions. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Tell a friend who you built pyramids with in the sandbox as a kid about the podcast.
Careful for the scaffolding on those. It's even worse than the professional kind.
Whether a sandbox or, even a beach. I'd allow a beach pyramid.
How gracious of you.
But no desert sand pyramid. If you built pyramids in the desert with somebody, don't tell them about the podcast. Just beach or sandbox.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess that rules out a lot of ancient Egyptians and also the members of 30 Seconds to Mars somehow. But that's fine. We'll see you next week. And until then, infinitely in the vacuum of space, you know what to do. Keep
spinning!
Man, what an episode. Do you think the Mixtaper's done with his infinite yeah yet? He was really going at it.
No, I still hear him in the other room.
Oh, boy.
I think he'll be doing it up until probably next week when he comes back.
Really? No, this is not a bit that's going to extend into next week.
Only time will tell.
No, he's going to come back and finish the yeah. We're not going to even remember it next week. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, well. Great. I'm glad that's over with. Maybe. If he keeps it up, I'm going to send Jared Leto my ears.